Sarah from Mum&Mia, and today I'm bringing you a video about the safer exercises that you can do when you've just had a baby to start pulling your tummy muscles back in and start tightening up the muscles again around the abdominal area. You have to be careful, of course, when you've just had a baby, that you don't rush into anything too quickly. I know it is so tempting to go and do a load of crunches and sit-ups and things like that to try and tone your tummy back up again, because it does feel really different, but it's really important that you don't do that straight away, because it can do more damage than good. So I'm going to show you some safe exercises that you can do today that will really start to work on the deep abdominal muscles that have been stretched when you were pregnant. Now, there is absolutely no point in doing crunches and things like that that work the outside, like the six-pack sort of muscles of your tummy, before you start to pull in the inner core muscles, because they're just going to be loose behind it and you will never get that pulled in, toned look again. Now, also one thing you need to be really sure about is that you haven't got a tummy muscle separation. Now, when you're pregnant, obviously your tummy expands and your muscles can split slightly. It's really common and it's absolutely normal. But for some people, they don't go back together properly. And if you have a 2-finger gap or more, you have still got a separation. Now, for people that are less than 6 weeks postpartum, these are the exercises that I would show you anyway, but they're also the exercises that you can do if you have got a separation. So if you are past the 6-week mark and you've got the separation still there, then try and do these exercises before doing anything else, because anything else will just push it out further and split the muscles further. So concentrate on doing these. For the mums, that even if you haven't got a separation, if you're less than 6 weeks, stick to these exercises and then you can move on to more intense stuff later on. Alright, so we're going to get started then. So the first exercise we're going to do is actually on all fours, and it's called ab hollowing. So we're starting off on all fours, so your hands are under your shoulders, knees are under your hips. And you quite simply just suck your navel in towards your spine. So you suck your tummy muscle. Now, we're not arching up here at all. We're just staying with a neutral spine and sucking the tummy in towards the spine. And we're going to take some deep breaths while we hold it. And then we release it again. Now, we're going to do that a few more times. So we're sucking the navel in towards the spine. We're holding it there, taking some nice deep breaths, and then we release it again. Now we're going to do that a couple more times again, but you can actually do this exercise when you're anywhere actually. So even if you're in the car, you can be doing this. You can be sucking the tummy in and releasing it again. If you're washing up or just generally walking around, you can be sucking this tummy in all the time. Concentrate on holding it tight and releasing it again. And like I say, this will work on pulling those deep abdominal muscles back into place. And these actually act like a corset to your tummy. So that will really help. And also any back pain, so it will help strengthen up your back. So it's really good to do this as often as you can. Okay, let's do one more. So we're sucking the navel in towards the spine. Some nice deep breaths, holding it nice and tight. And let's release it again. So that's the ab hollowing exercise. So the more of that you can do, the better. And that will really, really help strengthen up your core again. Okay, so just carefully bringing the legs round to the front. Being careful not to twist your back there. We are going to lie down on our backs this time. And again, we want to be in a neutral spine here. So we're not arching up the back, we're not pushing it into the floor. Just a nice neutral spine. You probably can just about slip your fingers under there. And we're going to take it into some knee drops now. So what I want you to do is actually engage your core. So very similar to how we've just done the ab hollowing. I want you to suck your navel in towards your spine, but continuing to breathe. And I want you to try and, so how some people explain, zip up all the way up to your tummy and hold it in as you are doing these exercises. Now, another great way to see if you are engaging your core correctly is to actually cough. And as you do that, you feel your tummy naturally engage, and that's how it should feel. So squeezing the pelvic floor, zipping up the tummy or coughing to get that engaged feel. We're going to keep the hips facing the ceiling, and we're going to carefully drop one knee down to the side while we're staying very still towards the ceiling, so the hips and the core stay exactly where they are as we do this. And again, this is working that deep abdominal muscle. So we're going to keep it here. Now, if you've got SPD still since you had your baby, this might be uncomfortable for you. So don't do this exercise if it is, because sometimes anything that we do laterally can aggravate that. So just be aware of that if you have, and you can move on to the next one instead, or do some more of the ab hollowing. All right, so again, we're just dropping the knee down, keeping the core nice and strong. And we're just going to do a couple more. Now, you can do these lots and lots, and the more you can do of these exercises, the better. This video is to purely just show you the exercises that are safe for you to do in the first few weeks after you've had a baby. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one, which is called foot slides. And again, we're in that neutral spine, pulling the navel in towards the spine, engaging the core, squeezing the pelvic floor. And again, keeping the core facing the ceiling, so keeping the tummy facing the ceiling, the hips facing the ceiling. We're going to very carefully just slide the foot out and bringing it back in again. And this is what we want to try and do without arching up the back. So if you're arching up your back, you don't want to be. You want to be pushing it down, keeping it into that neutral spine position. And this again will strengthen up those deep abdominal muscles as well as your back. And now I know that so many people, including me, has had back problems after they've had a baby. And that can be just due to postural changes when you're pregnant. It can be due to a weak core because your muscles have stretched. So it's great to do these exercises just to strengthen up your back even. Okay, so let's do one more. Fantastic. Okay, so the next one, then we've got two more. We're going to go into some pelvic tilts. So just taking the feet just a little bit wider, so just that hip width apart. We're going to be tilting the hips up, so pushing the bottom in towards the ceiling, bottom in towards the floor, hips up towards the ceiling, and then we're doing it the opposite way. So we're pushing the back into the floor, and we're pushing the pelvis up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to do it again. Now again, we should be here squeezing the pelvic floor, keeping that tummy engaged, so sucking the navel in towards the spine. And really concentrate on pulling it all in, trying to strengthen up those muscles again. And again, this will be working those deep abdominal, the transverse abdominal muscle. Okay, so we're just going to do a couple more of those. So again, tilting the bottom towards the floor, and then the opposite way. And let's just do one more before we go on to our next exercise. Okay. So next exercise then, we are going into a glute bridge. So this works the bottom and the tummy. And with our heels, we're going to push up towards the ceiling, and we're going to hold it there for a couple of seconds while we're squeezing the bottom, squeezing the core. And then we're going to carefully roll back down, vertebrae by vertebrae, back to the floor. And we're going to do that again. So we're pushing the hips up towards the ceiling, using the heels to push up with, squeezing the bottom, squeezing the tummy in. And you can feel that really pulling in the core there, really working those deep muscles. And again, we're going to roll down, vertebrae by vertebrae, back down to the floor. And again, we're going to do a few more of those. And the more, again, of this exercise you can do, the quicker and the quicker you're going to get that tummy toned up again, and also get stronger. And that's what you want, because you want that core to be nice and strong, because your core is what supports every single movement that you make. Walking, moving around, picking things up. If your core isn't strong, you're going to get problems. So it's great to start working on this straight away before you do any other form of exercise. Okay, let's just try one more of those. So squeezing everything in, pulling it all in, and then rolling back down to the floor. Okay, so now just rolling carefully onto your side. and pushing yourself up, again to avoid straining your back, which can be done so easy after having a baby because the muscles are weak. So there you are. Those are the exercises that you can do if you are less than 6 weeks postpartum, or if you've not exercised your core for a while and your core feels quite weak, which most people do after they've had a baby. Concentrate on just doing those before you do anything else, before you try any other forms of exercise. Walking is fine, of course, but again, when you're walking, try and pull in those abdominal muscles, so you are trying to get that core stronger, so to avoid any problems. If you want to see if you have got a tummy muscle separation, go to the Mum&Mia website, and on our story section of the website there is a link to a check that you can do for a tummy muscle separation. And if you have got one, even if you are, well, you can be any stage of motherhood and you may still have a separation. People can have it years without knowing. And these are the exercises that you should do to try and pull the muscles back together. So there you have it. They're the first exercises that you should be doing for your tummy after you've had a baby, before anything else, however tempting it might be. So click the Learn More button below if you'd like to know more about the Mum&Mia Healthy Mums programme and how we can help you after you've had your baby. And also, if you would like to give me a comment below, let me know how you get on with the exercises. I'd love to hear.